Happy festive period, Natterboxers. As we move into this period of goodwill to all men and such, we also enter the Christmas party season. Today, I'm going to take you through how to temporarily divert your calls, or perhaps send calls to voicemail for the period that you're out enjoying yourself. The good news is that this can be set up days or even weeks in advance, and so now you have no excuse to leave it to the last minute. We will be covering two scenarios. The first is diverting a simple policy with no prior rules. The second is diverting a slightly more complex policy that already has some routing rules in place. Let's start simple. You will see that this call policy connects straight to Bob. If he doesn't answer, it will go to his voicemail. Bob is going out for Christmas lunch between 3 and 6 p.m. on the 11th of December. We need to add in a rule that specifies this. To start, click the bottom of the inbound numbers container. Notice the new options on the right. Next, click on Action to create a new container. We now need to add a rule app within here. Click Rule. Ensure that time of day is highlighted and click Add Rule. Within these options, you should specify your criteria. In this instance, we will set the date to the 11th of December and the time between 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. We also need to select Monday to ensure the rule matches correctly. If you are in a different time zone, then you can specify this here. However, Bob is in the UK, so I will leave it as Europe, London. The last thing is to name your app. This just makes it easier to follow within the whole policy. Now the rule has been set up, we need to add it into the routing policy. Click on the canvas and drag your container into place. The rule has two grey connector circles. The bottom option is if the rule fails to match. The other is if the rule does indeed match. Click and hold on the bottom grey connector and drag it back to Bob. This will continue the call routing as before these changes. You now have a couple of different options for what to do during the Christmas lunch period. You can either say a message to the caller advising you are temporarily out of the office before connecting to voicemail. You can do this by using another action container, this time using the Speak app. Or you may choose to divert the calls to another number by using the Connect to Call app. Once you have made your changes, hit Save at the top of the screen. You have now set up a simple divert policy that will kick into action automatically at 3 p.m. on the 11th of December. The same method can be used for our slightly more complex inbound policy. The only thing we need to consider here is the logic of the rules apps. Click the container with the rules, then on the right hand side, select App and then Rule to add another rule to the bottom of your list. Complete the details as we did previously, ensuring that the time is entered in 24-hour format. Please also don't forget to select day of the week. You will notice the Christmas lunch rule is below the open hour rules. This logic is obviously incorrect as it needs to match your exception rule prior to checking the open hours. We therefore need to drag your new Christmas lunch rule above both AM and PM open hour rules. Also note that I am keeping the new rule below the existing block callers rule. This will result in blocked callers still being blocked. Logic is key here. You can now continue to either divert the call to another number or add a message to the caller as before. Don't forget to save. There you go. Proactive Christmas diverts in less than 5 minutes. Happy Christmas from all at Natterbox.